Have you thought about how much time is spent discussing the existence of God? The sheer amount of people who end up in hell because they do not see evidence for the Christian God must be staggering. What about all the resources, money and time people spend trying to convince others that Yahweh exists? Instead of humans having to make a decision whether to serve God or not, we have to waste all this time arguing whether He actually exists in the first place. It raises the question, why doesn't God simply make Himself known to the world? Is providing evidence for something a violation of free will? No. The more evidence we have, the better we can make decisions with our free will. Is it because God simply wants us to have faith and just believe without evidence? According to Pentecostals and Charismatics, God is miraculously healing people today, and they use that as proof that God is real. Why aren't those signs from God a violation of faith or free will? What's the difference between God proving His existence through miracles and proving His existence by a loud booming voice? Jesus Himself said that an evil generation seeks a sign, yet His entire ministry was healing the sick and performing signs and wonders. In fact, the Gospel of John says that all the books in the world would not be enough to contain the things that Jesus did. If God was really interested in saving souls, He would irrefutably present Himself to us, explain why we should serve Him, and then let us make our decision. And no, I'm not talking about God sending Jesus, because clearly that plan didn't work. We still have no reliable evidence that God exists. Personally, if I were God, I would not invent eternal torment. I'd present my case as to the benefits of being with me, such as being blessed, receiving divine healing, and so on. If some reject my offer, then that's okay. I'll still love them and they'll be welcome back anytime. They'll definitely miss out on any blessings and favour I had in store for them, but I'm not going to torture them for their decision. In fact, I myself would be violating their free will by telling them to serve me or burn for all eternity. If someone puts a gun to your head and says, "Give me your money or die," it's not really a free will decision, is it? It's the same with believe in Jesus or be thrown in a lake of fire. Being God, I can still provide righteous justice and issue punishment that suits the crime, but that's a far cry from eternal torment. So if God showed Himself, then instead of Christians wasting all this time trying to convince people that God exists, we could completely skip that step and move on to explain the real and tangible advantages of those who follow Him. Can you imagine the enormous benefits to mankind if God did this? Not to mention, if hell was actually real, then the amount of souls that could be saved? It would be like Jesus telling the disciples to cast the net on the opposite side of the boat. The amount of souls that God would bring in would be phenomenal. Desperate souls that have been longing to find purpose and destiny in their lives, so overjoyed that they finally know God is real and that the real God is Him who sent Jesus Christ. For such a merciful, loving and all-knowing God, it seems to me He's not doing all He could to save His creation.